I'm ready.
Good afternoon, everyone. This is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews, and I am your literary ambassador. And today I have Jujuana Howard on my channel today. Welcome, welcome, welcome. How are you?
I am doing well and I am super excited to be here. So thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. Now tell us a little about yourself.
Well, I am a United States Air Force veteran. I'm an HR professional. I'm an author. I'm a mom. I'm a wife. I have two kids, a 6 and a 4-year-old named Zachary and Zoe. And I own a couple of businesses. I own Jujuana Howard LLC, a consulting company that specializes in personal and professional development. I have published two books in a variety of training material. And my information is designed to provide practical tools on how to navigate life and help you reach your ultimate goals. I'm also a Mary Kay independent beauty consultant. And what I do is I empower women to be financially independent and teach them the proper way to do skincare. So I got a lot going on.
Okay. What is your genre and what attracted you to that genre?
So I do mostly nonfiction, and most of my books is based on experiences that I have incurred throughout my life. Um, what attracts me is being able to help people. So if I have gone through anything, if I've learned it through anything, I love sharing that with people. So those are what my books are based on.
Okay. How did your life change as a mother during this pandemic?
Oh my gosh. That's a very open question. Well, for me, I have been an entrepreneur for several years. I have worked from home for a variety of years. However, I had never worked from home with my kids.
Mhm.
And they were both in private school. They were both doing online classes, and I was considered an essential employee. So we were all working.
Mhm.
And I thought I could just set them up and, just let them go and check on them every now and again, but that is not how it works. First of all, the attention span of any child is like 3.2 seconds.
Mhm. Mhm.
So I literally had to sit beside one child on one side, one child on the other, and
Yes.
still try to do my work. And it was just, I mean, it was a nightmare. I don't think anybody took in consideration how moms would be able to do this. They gave all these great things. Oh, they'll just log online and they'll just do their work. And it's like, no, you have the
Mhm.
500 million questions that you have to help them with. You have
Mhm.
to make sure they're doing what they actually are supposed to be doing and not playing with toys or eating all the food out of your cabinet or,
Yep.
just everything or fighting with each other. So it's like I had to be homeschooler, referee, cafeteria person, everything. So it was definitely a lot for me. It was definitely a lot. It was basically unknown territory. I had never done that before, never homeschooled before. So one thing I have learned is hats off to the teachers that are out there. You have got my support. Every time there is a recognition, I will be there supporting you because they handle a lot. I can't imagine a teacher how they do this virtually and in class every day. I mean, it was just a lot. It was overwhelming.
Okay. What inspired you to write this book?
What inspired me to write this book is that I really just wanted to help people. Just say, I think as a woman, even as a mom, everybody has struggled at some point with trying to balance life, work, and motherhood. There is
Yes.
no magic, there's no magic solution for it. You just do what you can and do the best that you can with it.
Mhm.
So what I did is during that period, I did a lot of journaling. I needed time to kind of express how I feel, express some of the things that were happening to me in a safe environment. So I started writing. So I wrote between March and June of 2020. And then at the end of that, I was like, I have a lot of material in here that I think could help other people. So I decided to just take a lot of that material out and create this book. And I thought, well,
Okay.
maybe some of the moms may get, some practical tips on what they can do if they're in this certain situation.
Mhm. Mhm. Now tell us about your book.
So about my book, it goes through the three phases that I struggled with the most during the pandemic, which is life. Um, so COVID, basically, it's like everything I had learned was out the window. Every process that I had, every routine that I had, it's like it completely disrupted all of that. So now I had to figure out, how do I live in this new normal? So that's what the first portion of the book is about, how I transitioned from the way it was into the way it is now in life.
Mhm.
The second portion of that book is about, work. How did COVID affect work? How did COVID affect me working from home? How did it affect me working from home with the kids? So I go through those stages of lessons that I learned, things that I
Mhm.
had to do. Um, Everyone always tells me that during COVID was a time to pivot, but I learned that I had to shift. I had to shift my mindset. I had to shift my thought process. I had to shift what I usually do and create something completely new because this was so different. And then the last phase of it is motherhood and how I dealt with that during COVID. Because guess what? You can't take the kids and drop them off to grandma anymore to get a break. You can't, let them go outside and do what they normally do. You have to come up with another, how can we coexist in this house without killing each other? How
Mhm.
can we, get along? How can we enjoy each other? So I had to learn how to do all of those things. And it basically was a process, just learning how to, reintroducing myself to my kids and learning more about them and, learning about what they like, what they don't
Mhm.
like, what I don't like, even with my husband. I mean, because we were in such close quarters, we basically had to get to know each other all over again.
Right. Yes. Okay. Would you like the snippet or from your book?
I do. I will like to read a snippet, and this is coming from the first chapter, and it's on fear and anxiety. So I'm going to read just a little page. It starts on page 14, but it said, Then it happened. One day I was standing in my kitchen and the tears began to fall and they would not stop. I cried because I was scared. I cried because I was anxious. I cried because I felt like I was alone. That day I realized I had to start taking care of myself. I had to find a way to overcome fear and anxiety, and I had to learn how to live again. That day, I decided to give fear a new name, facing everything and anything realistically. This acronym helped me release fear and anxiety and stay focused on the things that I could control. So, here's some tips, things that I did to overcome my fear and anxiety. First, number one, take a moment to breathe. Number two, focus on the things that are within your control. And number three, take control of the situation. Do not let the situation control you.
You. Yes. Yes. Um, did you think that the pandemic made you a stronger mother?
I definitely do. Think it made me a stronger woman. For one, it made me put things in perspective. I had to stop looking at the pandemic as a disruption to my life and think about the positives. It is a privilege to spend time with your kids. It is a privilege to be around family. It
Yes.
is a privilege. I mean, because I know a couple of moms who have lost their kids and they don't have this opportunity. I think with the whole pandemic, it caused a lot of us to take a break. It forced us to take a break. I know for me anyway, I was so busy trying to build a business, do my job, do all of these things. I was in school at the time when the pandemic happened, but it helped me put things in perspective. All those things are good, but all those things may not be God. I mean, what is more important, building your brand or having a family that's stable and loving? So I
Yeah.
learned a lot through that. I learned how my kids really saw me. I never thought that, my working affected them, but they would say, "Mommy, when I started eating dinner with them, they was like, "Oh, Mommy, you're eating dinner with us." I had no idea that that even mattered to them, but it did. But
Mhm.
because I was so busy building my brand and doing all these other things, I didn't take time to look at the small things. So,
Thanks.
yes, it helped me
Yes.
put a lot in perspective. It helped me put my family back first again. And this is something I never regret. I love the things that I have learned during this pandemic.
Mhm. Now, how old are Zoe and Zach?
Zachary just turned 6 in January, and Zoe just turned 4.
Okay. What is your role? What do you think your role is in the literary community?
My role, I believe, is to educate and inspire. I want people to live the best life that they can with the tools that's already out there. I always tell everybody you have everything that you need in yourself to be successful. You just got to use it. You just got to tap into what you have already. So that is my goal, is to give people the tools they need to be the best version of
Mhm.
themselves.
Amen. Amen. What do you do when you're not writing?
When I'm not writing, I love to read. I am an avid reader. I'm reading like 5 books right now. I
Okay.
love everything from leadership to Christian romance to anything that's self-improvement. I love to read. So that is like that is one of the things that I do, one of my hobbies. That helps me relax and to refresh. So I read, of course, I journal a lot. Sometimes it's just Netflix and chill. I like a good movie. I like a good action movie. So yeah, those are some of the things I do.
Well, you know what my next question is, what are you reading?
What am I reading? Well, I just finished up a book called Wife and Mistress by Melinda Michelle, which is
Okay.
awesome. I just purchased, let's say I've got like five of them on there. I just purchased another book. Let me pull them up so I can get the names right on there. But what I try to do, my goal is to read at least 4 to 5 books per month. Because I think that the more that you read, the more that you're educated, the smarter you become. Learning should be something you do every day. So
Yes.
that is definitely why I love to read. I think it's super important. So the books that I just purchased, I purchased Wife and Mistress. I also purchased My Brother's Daughter by Melinda Michelle. I'm reading that one. Another book I just read is Say My Name by Barbara Joe. It was a free book that I saw in someone's Facebook page. So I got that one. It was actually
Say my
free.
name.
It's called Say My Name. Uh it's a short story by Barbara Joe Williams.
It's my mentor.
Okay, so
Yes.
she had a free book
Yeah.
going on. I said, I'm
And
gonna
I was
purchase
like,
that
say
to
my
be as well.
name. That
Yeah.
say my name. I'm like, I
So yes, I
yes.
read that. I read another book recently. It's called The Make Believe Wives,
Okay, I heard about that one.
and I think you pronounce her name Darlis Bachelor.
Bachelor. That's
Yes,
my girl.
I just read that one. So yeah,
Yeah.
that one I finished. Super good book. I like Barbara Jones, but it was very interesting and just a plot
Yes.
twist. I'm like, I didn't see that coming at all. So I love that. So yeah, so those are the ones I kind of just started. I also just read another book by my friend who's in my writing class. It's called Dream Again. That was an awesome book by Anne
Um,
Marie Bryant.
yep.
Yep. So, and then I
Oh,
also read a lot of other things. As I say, I read a lot of things with self help, leadership. I read a lot of things about how to perfect being a self published author, also because I want to hone that craft.
mhm, mhm. All right. What has been your greatest accomplishment thus far in your literary career?
I think my greatest accomplishment, and this is going to sound so simple, but actually just overcoming my fear of being exposed. For a long time, I spent a lot of time um, with my first book. I spent a lot of time, like years. I had already written it, but I was too afraid to put it out there because I was worried about what people will say, what people will think. And I have come to the realization is that who cares what people say and what people think? What you have in your book could help. If it doesn't help but one person, that is one person that book was meant to
Yes.
touch. So I have learned to overcome that. So I think that's been my greatest accomplishment is really just putting the gifts and the information that God has putting it out there for the public and not worrying about if they're going to like it, but also just worrying about, this could help somebody. This is made specifically for somebody out there. And if they like it, great. If they don't, it's okay.
Mhm, mhm. Can you give us one strategy out of your book and elaborate on it?
One strategy. Okay, let's see. Um, one strategy. Okay, self-care. Self-care is super important, not just for mom, but just for women in general. With women, we are always doing for others, taking care of others, putting things before us, and we usually don't even think about taking care of ourselves. So for self-care in the book, I have 3 things that you can use to kind of incorporate self-care into your life. For one, is scheduling time for self-care. This may look really crazy, but literally, I have to schedule time. Like I have every Saturday, I have a time at night, usually from like 7 to maybe 8 or 9 at night, where I just take a spa bath. No kids are allowed, no one's allowed in the room. I have my little thing that says do not disturb. That is my time. Mommy is unavailable during that time. But literally, if I don't put it on the calendar, it does not happen. And it's like sometimes you have good intentions, like, oh, I'm going to do this. I'm going to take time to, go get a massage or go get my nails done. And then something come up. The kids have to go somewhere. The husband needs something done. Work is calling, and you tend to put your things on the back. So I say one, schedule self-care time. Block off time on your calendar, your calendar to do things specifically for yourself, to take care of yourself emotionally, spiritually, and physically. So do you want me to go on or just that one?
That one just hit me in the head, but okay. Okay. What are you currently working on right now?
I actually am working on 3 books that I have that are coming out this year. So when I was like 8, well, between 7 and 9, I'm not exactly sure what age, we had to write a book in school. So this is how much I love. Even back then, when I was a child, I was always writing. So I wrote this book called Ed the Advisor. And someone asked me literally a couple months ago, like, what did you want to be as a child? I was like, you know what? I wanted to be a teacher, but I also wanted to be a writer. And I had this book and I still kept it. So I'm going to release that book, 30 years later,
Wow.
completely with I did all of the illustrations. I didn't change anything in it. I'm going to re-release the book. So it's a child's book that's coming out. It's called Ed the Advisor. And I'm super excited about that because it's funny to me to read something that I wrote at 7, 8, or 9 years old and it still be valid today because I love to teach and train. This book is actually what it's doing, teaching and training kids how to rely on their own self and not always go to other people for questions and
Mhm,
answers. So I'm
mhm.
like, even back then, I knew that this is what I wanted to do. So I have that book coming out. I'm working on another book called Powerless to Powerful, Keys to Developing Self-Confidence. So that book is going to come out sometime in the summer. And then I have another book called He Said, She Said, The Truth About Love and Marriage. And it's about my relationship with my husband. And we're also going to do kind of like a podcast spin on that to go over the book. So I have those 3 coming out this year.
Wow, interesting. How can readers find you and your book?
They can find my book. I have 3 places on my website, which is jujuanahoward.com, and it's spelled JUJUANA.com. I also in Tallahassee, my book is in Obsessions Gift Shop. So if you want to go there, you can purchase it there. It's on Railroad Station in Tallahassee, Florida, and also on Amazon.
Okay. Is there anything else you would like to add before we close?
I just want to encourage not just mother, but all women in general. You have been equipped for such a time as this. You are doing a good job. It may not look like the other moms, but girl, you are making it happen each and every day. So don't give up. Don't get discouraged. You got this.
Thank you, Jujuana. Thank you for coming in today. I really appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
This is Queenie Clem with Queenie's Book Talk and Reviews. Happy reading. Bye, y'all.
Bye.